Here we are. Back.
Welcome back. We're having a series of conversations on dating.
This is the last one on dating.
This is going to be the last one
Yeah.
for now on dating. We hope that at those who are dating, you're getting clues into what to do, what to look out for during that phase, so that you eventually have a happy marriage like the one we have. What do we want to talk about as we conclude this series?
I think today let's talk about how do you know it's the right person,
Yes.
and the danger signs of how do you know when to run away.
Yes.
Remember that cat song of the gambler? You need to know when to hold them. You need to know when to fold them. You need to
Was there
know.
folding, Ronnie?
Yes. You need to know
You
when
got
to
to
run.
know when to.
I don't know how to sing it, but
Hold on.
I know you
Know
need to know
when
when to.
to,
You need to know when to hold them.
know
You need to know when to
when to
fold them.
walk away.
You need to know when to
Know
walk out.
when to run. You never hide your money.
You never count
Count
your money when you're seated on the table.
There'll be time when I have to count it.
When the deal
When
is
the
done.
deal is done.
Exactly, but that is how it is also. You need to know when to
good.
run away. You need to know when to know that this is a deal.
Or this-
and yes, I
this
think
is
that's
not.
the thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
so how did you know that Lucy Peace Nantume was the it?
I think it should be the other way around.
Hey.
How do you know it was? Anyway, how do you know? But before we go there, of sharing our experience, I think we need to first go to the principle. No, the principles, because we are speaking from the point of a Christian marriage. We are not talking about the traditional marriage.
We are
talking
Christian. We are Catholics.
Yeah.
So to add,
picking it from the Catholic way, everything is on the script, based partly on the Bible. Of course, we have other books, but it gives us the base on which we build the others. And when you take it down, because someone asked, how do I know? How do you know that this is the right person? How do you know? And the good book already put it clearly. When you pick it in Genesis chapter 2, I think you can bring it from around verse 15, where God said he put man in his he put man in the Garden of Eden, and that was God's presence. And then after putting man in the Garden of Eden, he gave him work. You're going to look after this creation I've done. In other words, you're going to continue the work of co-creating with me. He gave him work. And then after that, he said, you'll take over this, you'll manage all this whatever is in the garden. And then he gave the man his commandment. You are not to eat from a specific tree, but you can do this and this.
Yeah.
And when God looked at this man who was in his presence, who had the capacity to co-create with him, who knew his word and command, he said,
It is not good
exactly,
for this man
yes,
to be alone.
exactly. And he made him a helper. And what did God say, which he didn't say loudly?
That the opposite.
Exactly. That
The man who is not in God's presence,
exactly, who cannot
who
co-create,
cannot procreate,
who doesn't know the commandments of
the word of God.
Exactly.
It is good for that man to be alone.
Until he's ready. Exactly. And that should be the first sign.
Yeah.
I think that's where we should start from. It's the person whom you're dating should be, because it's going to be God gives the man the authority of the home. He's going to be the head of the home. The head of the home should be able to be a person who builds others, not who body shames, who criticizes, who beats. He solves every other thing with a beating. He beats his woman. He uses his body, his muscular, his strength, which God gave him to build. Instead, he uses it to trample
And
on
to
others,
destroy.
to destroy others, sometimes it's not physical, sometimes it's emotional, and he tramples on that person.
Yeah.
And other times is because it doesn't mean that he has to have, because work, with the way we are in our world today, it is an up and down. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. But there should be a vision of, this is the vision I have for my home. This cases where we ask people,
You're getting married.
we're getting married. When are you getting married? I don't know. Ask my wife.
Ask my girlfriend.
Ask my girlfriend. What is it going to be? How do you want the home to run? I really don't know. Honey, what do you want? It should be that you're taking command.
The vision bearer has no vision.
Vision bearer has no vision. and it should be that you have you in the presence of God. You should be a prayerful person. Should watch you.
Because you're going to be the spiritual leader of the home.
Exactly. You need to know the word of God. You should be.
Well, at least we should see the effort, the struggle.
You may not grow. Yes, because we've grown up in different families, different backgrounds, but like they say, any person above the age of 18, age of consent, you should not blame anyone where you grew up from. You have the capacity to change yourself at that point. So that is where it starts from. I think that is where the conversation is. That is Genesis 15, taking it around 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, thank you, Hadi. And what you've given is, you've helped the ladies to identify what they should look out for in a man.
Yeah.
How about the women?
Usually on the other side, God just said, I think actually everywhere they say in the Bible, they say it is always about the woman. He who finds a good woman finds a good thing and receives favors from God. The woman you marry will make who you are. And but I know many people have looked at Proverb 31. They call it the Proverb woman of 31. But of course it's as we look, it's a high stake, but it is a good guide of what she should be like, and that should be. She doesn't have to have these things, but like we've said, it should be the struggle towards that, and you can sense the struggle towards that in the conversations you have with someone. You can see the trouble spots, and each time you have a conversation, and that is where we have the conversations.
I think what I love most about the Proverbs 31 is the last part,
which is
a woman who fears the Lord. Sometimes people concentrate on the first verses.
But I think
she should build a field, she should do this and this.
I think that is where it starts from, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all that.
Yeah.
So I think that is where the conversation should start from. But also now that points us to the troubled things. Because people have said, how do I know? People, we now know that a person who tramples on you, who is body shaming you, who is always pointing out the wrongs about you,
who is not
those
building you
are
up,
troubled spots. The person who doesn't want to, a person who always, every time we're with that person, you always have to go for confession.
You on bunkeng?
No, just leave the bunkeng.
They make you sin.
They have to take you for confession. Oh boy, that is where the trouble spot is. So you now see those are the areas, I think, where those ones who are in that dating world, who are looking and who are searching, that's where it should be.
Yes. And just to speak into the, most people, there are a few who date later in time, but most people date in their early 20s, mid 20s.
The principle is the same.
Yes, but what I want to bring out is we usually make up lists, secular, I would call them worldly lists. I want a man who is tall, who is handsome, who has muscles. What have muscles got to do with you living a godly, fulfilling marriage? Most of these things we have picked up from movies. Yeah, a man should be like this. He should be able to have money. He has to be the one to cater for everything in the home. Actually, Proverbs 31, that's the other part I like about it. It challenges you. It talks about a woman who goes and buys a field. She makes sure her home is provided for. But then we have people who are emphasizing that a woman's money should be her money. A woman should not take care of anything, Yeah, but honey, before we leave, for you, how did you know that
Yeah, I saw those other things you talked about in your. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Later, as we keep sharing about our lives,
But
we
also,
shall go
there's a
into
bit
some
of
details.
you have to pray. Brother
Yeah.
Martin in Smokies tell us pray for your future wife. Pray, and prayer works.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people call it luck, but you need to pray for the person God is preparing for you. It's very, very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending your time with us. We shall catch you again as
And
we continue sharing.